Okay, so we're going to continue our peak formations presentation. This is going to be the final part of it when we talk about reset safety. All right, so the first part we had talked about understanding peak formations, why they happen, why they occur. Second part was safety trades, okay, and identifying when to trade in away from peak condition and find the safety trade. So this final part here is going to be about reset safeties and when we have a safety trade off of a reset level. Or reset condition. Okay, so if you guys are unfamiliar with resets or how they work, okay, make sure that you are watching the resets trends levels video in the series to understand how resets work. But what we're going to do today is I'm just going to go through very briefly, just kind of a recap and a review on how to identify resets and what to look for. Okay, so if you look at this chart here, we're going to look at the difference between a confirmed reset and a non-confirmed reset. So what happens in a reset is there's a trend that goes on for a time, right? We have our 3-level cycle, and sometimes what happens is they'll continue the trend after 3 levels. Okay, so there will be a little bit of a drop here that market makers will book some profits, and then they'll start to continue up on that trend and go on forward. So the difference between a confirmed and a non-confirmed reset is basically you're going to have to look at how the market is structured, and if you get a break above the level 3 area high and it stays above, then that basically means it's a confirmed reset. Okay, if you get the second leg to challenge the first leg of that high and it doesn't break it, okay, then we're not in reset territory yet. So conversely, the same way with on the lows, okay, if we do get a break of the low and it stays down below there, breaks the structure, then that is a confirmed reset. Okay, 1, 2, 3 levels of drop, a little bit of pullback to book some profits, and then we go again down and break the low, and that will continue the cycle down with 3 more cycles. Okay, so this would be a non-confirmed reset if it comes back up and falls short, okay, and does not break that low. Sometimes it comes right down to the low and then sweeps up, right? But as long as it doesn't break this low, okay, this is not a confirmed reset yet, okay, and it doesn't happen until that structure is broken. So you have to break the structure, stay below it, and then that will confirm the reset. So the irony with the resets is that you don't know that it's a reset until it's a reset, right? Until it happens. So you can't really, you can predict it, like you can try and say maybe, okay, well, it could break the top here, but unless you really see it happening, unless it confirms and it happens, then you're never really sure if you're in a reset or not. Okay, so let's take a look at an example on the chart of an actual reset cycle and the structure, what it looks like. So this is USD CAD over the course of the last few weeks. Okay, so you can see how we came down through a big level 3 consolidation here, and then starting to rise. Okay, level 1, level 2, level 3, and then level 3 here, it gave us a nice big M structure. It dropped down, but then it held the 200 EMA and then continued up. Once it broke this structure here, okay, this level here was possibly going to be a reset level, okay, right here, this peak high, right? But since it was only one level up, okay, and then after that it dropped down, this was considered a peak high level and not a reset level. It didn't become a reset level until we dipped down and we booked some profits first. Okay, this is where market makers will book some profits. They'll come back down. They'll start to start the downward cycle, book some profits, and then shoot all the way back up. Okay, so you can see here this high up here was broken with this level 1 move, or into this level 2 move, really. Okay, and that confirmed this level reset. All right, so level 1, level 2, level 3. Okay, once again, if they broken the high here, okay, this level would have been considered a reset level, but here's where they booked the profits. Okay, they came back down, started the downward cycle, but then came right back up into this level 1, into level 2, and this level 2 is where it broke this high. Okay, so this is the reset level. So what happens is the reset level acts as the peak formation low for that new cycle. Okay, so this will be the new P formation low, and this will be the new P formation low, and you can see actually how it works out to be each week, right? These lines here separate the weeks of each week. So you can see how the reset formed a new peak formation low each week, right? And then continue up. All right, so that's how you look at the market structure. Okay, if we have a high and it's breached, okay, that's when we can confirm that this was a reset. Unfortunately, as this is happening, you don't know that this is a reset because you're still under the impression that this is going down and this is the first level of the drop. Okay, but you can see here this area, okay, was broken up here when it was level 2. Okay, and that's when you can confirm that that's a reset. This up here, from this level up to this level, you can have some suspicion that it could be a reset, but as long as it doesn't break this high, okay, this whole area here could just be a big level 3 peak formation waiting to drop. It's not until you break through the high here and hold above that level that you can be sure that that's a reset level. Okay, same thing with here. Okay, your candles are showing you that it's going down, right? And you're thinking that this is a level 1 drop and it's going to continue down after that, but then it shoots right back up to this level 3 area, but not until it goes past like this, okay, that you're sure that this is going to be a reset level. All right, this could be just they could always come back up and test these highs before dropping it, but you can see here that they did continue up further. Okay, so that's how you kind of look at it. You got to look at the structure, make sure that you see that that's breaking the structure. And another thing to note that usually it's off of the 200 and the 800 EMAs. Okay, so right here you have 200 EMA, 800 EMA kind of crisscrossing here, and then here you have the 200 and 800. You can see it bounce right off of those EMAs to make those resets. All right. So let's take a look at our reset safety trade rules. Okay, you're going to have a reset anchor locked in, usually at the 200 or the 800 EMA, like I just discussed. You're going to have one ADR off the anchor. Okay, a one anchor move off the anchor. You're going to have a 1350 cross on the H1, and you have a 5200 cross on the M15. Okay, you're going to have a visible stop hunt to the EMA or the top and the bottom of the Asian range, and you're going to have the TDI showing an out of the band, in the band condition with divergence, which is preferable. Okay, but TDI has to confirm. You're going to have a cross of the signal line and the cross of the market baseline, just like in all the other of our setups. All right, short trades, you're looking for an M pattern with a nameable second leg, and long trades W with a nameable second leg. Okay, so let's look at some chart examples of some reset safeties. Okay, so here you can see we have GBP odd. This is a M15 chart, and you can see right here, this is your reset anchor. Okay, now you can see this big move down here. Okay, this is a 180R move off of the anchor. All right, and then here, right there is where the anchor locks. Is when you have the 5200 cross right there, that locks this anchor right up here and confirms that we are going down. Right, so now what you're looking for is you're looking for a visible stop hunt. Okay, now you can see that this actually spanned across 3 days. So this is the first day, the drop into the second day, and then you don't get your stop hunt until the third day. All right, so right here you're going to move outside of the Asian box. Okay, we have a right at the shadow box, the London box area, with a nice evening star formation. Okay, so there is your visible stop hunt right there. Okay, now unfortunately this is only the first leg of the move. Okay, TDI confirms down at the bottom here with a big shark fin. Okay, at the extremes. Right, and then you have a shark fin out of the band, and then back in the band here is where it confirms. Right, we want to see that TDI cross the signal line and cross below the market baseline. Conversely, that happens right here, okay, on this second leg. It's actually a half a bat pattern, okay, so you can see here the shift down below the apex here, all right, but there's also a railroad track pattern with an engulfing bearish candle, second candle. Okay, so you have a second leg half bat, second leg nameable pattern, which is railroad tracks. Okay, you also have a first leg of evening star at the shadow box, which is very, very powerful as well, and a nice big shark fin confirming that. And you can see that the trade played out very nicely. This was, I think, pretty much 120 or so pip trade. Okay, very nice trade. Okay, Next, we're going to look at Euro Odd, okay, M15. This is now, GA and EA are both very similar pairs. They move similar, so you can see this kind of move is basically looks like the GA move that we just looked at, right? So sometimes if you have a setup on GA, you can find a similar setup on EA in the crosses, okay? So now take a look here. We have our reset anchor right up here, okay, nice big M structure off of the 200, and the 800 EMA comes right through it, all right? And reset anchor locks in. So this big move down here, 180R move off of the anchor. Okay, this is way more than 180R. But where it locks the anchor is right here when you see the 5200 cross. Okay, so the cross is there in Asia, okay? And this is locking in the anchor. Now again, this is span of 3 days, right? The anchor locked in here in Asia on the first day. The second day was the big drop, okay? Then a big pullback, and then here is where you get your visible stop hunt, okay? Same thing. We have a nice evening star formation in the shadow box, all right, off of the 200 EMA and just outside of the Asian box. Okay, we have a nice shark fin down at the bottom again at the extremes, okay, with a 1-1 confirm, okay, so out of the band. Okay, in the band here, and right here is also where you get the second leg half bat entry again with a railroad track with a bearish engulfing. Okay, so that's where it confirms, that's where you take your entry, and nice big trade on that one as well. All right, Euro JPY, M15, okay, same thing here. We got a nice reset anchor, locks in, all right, off of the 800 EMA. You guys can see that right there, okay. Nice big outside structure for the first leg. Second leg happens to be in Asia, okay? But this is a nice big move off of the anchor, okay? 180R move off the anchor, and then the 5200 cross is right there, which locks in that anchor, okay? So once you see that, what you're doing is you're waiting for your visible stop hunt, right? So pull back, okay, into this move right here, which is where your stop hunt is, outside of the Asian box, traps the 200 EMA, okay. TDI, also a nice shark fin out of the band and in the band here, okay. So in the band right here is a second leg of an evening star formation. You can see that right there, all right, in the New York shadow box. So very nice confirmation there. It's kind of an ugly M pattern, half bat pattern, all right, but there's the shift candle, all right, and then below the apex, and then there's your big move right there. That's the safety move, okay. You could have taken a riskier entry here when you've seen these railroad tracks here, but you didn't get a close below the 13, and you didn't have anywhere near confirmation on the TDI. So this would have been a much riskier entry to take, and safer entry would be over here, but you can see it still worked out if you took an early entry up here. All right, next, looking at GCAD. So this is also an example of a trade that took a couple days to play out. You have a nice big reset anchor over here. Okay, this is the 200 and 800 on this side. This came up over here. The price is over here on this side. Trapped through, gave a nice big M anchor, and then trapped down below. Okay, so that reset anchor gives you a nice big move off of the 80R there from anchor to the low point here. Close at the extremes, right? 5200 cross locks that anchor in. Okay, so now we're confirmed going down, and now we're just looking for a visible stop hunt, okay, on the next day, which you do get right here. Actually, you do get it right here. Okay, so let's just say, for example, that you saw this as the stop hunt, all right, off of the 200 EMA, and then you got a nice big pin here, and then came back up, and then they give you a nice railroad track here. So you might have seen this as the second leg and taken that entry there, which is fine. You just would have gotten stopped out. Okay, so that happens sometimes. Sometimes you catch it early. Okay, but once you see this happen, this is designed to take out these stops, right? When the people that are selling up here, over here, and then into over here. So this candle here is designed to take out the stops up here and up here, right? And once it does that, it comes all the way back down, right? And then it continues in the direction that you basically intended it to go. So don't be afraid, okay, when you see that. If you get taken out here, okay, you look for an opportunity for an entry again, okay? You can see this TDI is showing an out of the band, so you're taking this one as the out of the band, and then over here is where you get your confirmation, TDI confirm out of the band, in the band here, and then TDI below the market baseline, below the signal line, okay, is where your confirmation entry is. It's got a nice head and shoulders pattern to take that short. Okay, now this one you would have had it held into the next session, but if you did, boy, you got paid off. Okay, because that was a, oops, sorry, let me just look at that again. That was a 300 pip move. Okay, from here down to there was a nice big 300 pip move. All right, so one other thing I wanted to point out is that if you took this earlier entry here, okay, where this stop hunt was, all right, you know, you had to close below the 13, you had the railroad tracks there, but you didn't have a TDI confirmation, right? Over here, you had it below the signal line, but not below the market baseline. Now, when you have a second leg nameable pattern, sometimes it is powerful enough to take that entry, but make sure that if you're not, you know, just understand that if you're not getting the TDI confirmation and everything else lining up with it, there's a chance that this might happen, right? And that's exactly how these things happen. So when you take the safer entry over here, when the RSI confirms with the market baseline, and you get this, you can see here it's even a nice evening star pattern right off of the EMA and the big shift. Okay, so the rules are in there for a reason, for you guys to you know, keep you from taking trades and getting stopped out like this. Sometimes they work out and sometimes they don't, but if they do you know, stop you out and you get, you know, your hand bitten, don't be afraid to get back into this trade when it presents the opportunity again. Okay, so you get a nice head and shoulders pattern. You see this is an obvious, you know, stop hunt, you know, candle. That candle doesn't look like it should be there, right? Just out of nowhere there's a big bullish candle out here that should not be there. That just looks suspect. Okay, so you know, when you see the move away from it, trickling gradually afterwards, after that big move like that, you can be sure that this is, you know, headed downward. And you can see here, the next day was just, you know, a free fall. Okay, 370 pip move, I think, you know, for the whole move. You'd be happy to catch any part of that at all. All right. Okay, next example. This is USD CAD, okay, and this is on the M15 chart. So this is a unique example. I wanted to show you guys this, what happens when, okay, sometimes you don't get a very clear pattern, okay? So let's take a look here. We have a reset anchor locked in, right? We have a nice big bullish move up away from the anchor, okay? 180-year move off the anchor. And then right here in Asia, you get the 5200 cross, okay? So you get your anchor is locked, 5200 cross. Okay, now you're just looking for your visible stop hunt, right? You get that right here, okay? A nice big strong move out of the Asian box, and then you get a nice big V spike, okay? But was there a pattern in here? Okay, this is a visible stop hunt for sure. Okay, this was the shadow box. Okay, you got a nice morning star pattern in the shadow box, and it just kind of took off after that, right? You didn't get that second leg. Okay, you have the TDI confirmation. It was a shark fin, a nice big shark fin here at the TDI extremes, but you didn't get, you got an out of the band, but you didn't get the in the band, right? Where the second leg never happened. Okay, so it kind of just took off. So what do you do when there's no clear pattern like this? Sometimes you're just going to get a V bottom, and it's just going to shoot up, right? It's going to go up, up, and away from you. Look, you miss all of this. Okay, and then same thing for shorts. Sometimes you're just going to get an A top, and you're not going to get the second leg of the M, and it's just going to run away from you. All right, so you know, sometimes if you're looking on the F15 chart and you don't have a clear pattern, okay, sometimes it's good to look at the hourly chart and see if there's a potential setup there. Okay, now if you look at the hourly chart, okay, in the same time frame or the same area, okay, the H1 chart may have a potential 50 bounce setup for you. Okay, so take a look here. This was the reset anchor that we just looked at. Okay, and that's the big reset anchor there. And then what happens is you're looking for a 1350 cross, okay, to confirm and to lock that anchor, which happens right there. Okay, that was the 5200 cross in Asia. And then this is that big V bottom, that big V spike that we saw, okay, that we couldn't take on the M15 because there wasn't a pattern. But what are the criterias on the H150 bounce, right? You don't need a pattern for the H1, you don't need a W for the H150 bounce. What you need is a pullback, okay, 25 to 50 pips, which is this clearly is, okay, to the 50 EMA. It needs to trap the static 50, which it does, okay, and it needs to cross the signal line, okay, which it does, right? So your entry would be right here on this close of this candle here for the H150 bounce, and then you would have caught all of this move right here. Okay, and if you were lucky enough to hold it, okay, through this, okay, this might have taken you out. If you were holding on after that, this might have taken you out. But if you by some coincidence didn't get taken out, then you would have caught all the rest of this move as well, right? And of course, there's other entries here that you could have taken to catch this as well. But we're looking at right now this safety trade potential. Okay, so sometimes looking at a H1 chart is going to give you that setup instead of the M15, because sometimes the M15 just isn't going to give you a clean pattern, and sometimes you're going to get clearer patterns on the H1. All right, nice big move, H150 bounce. All right, looking at the TDI confirm, crosses the signal line. We don't need to cross the market baseline, however it did, okay, which makes it even stronger. But we just need to cross the signal line there, and then we need the static 50 to be trapped, okay, or bounce off the static, but this happened to go through and trap through. So that was a nice TDI confirm there. Okay, so in summary, all right, let's wrap this up. We're going to look for a reset anchor pattern. Okay, so for reset safety, look for reset anchor pattern, usually at the 200 or the 800 EMA. All right, 1350 cross on the H1 and the 5200 cross on the M15 locks in that anchor. Okay, that's what makes it a reset anchor. All right, then you're going to look for a visible stop hunt to the EMA or the top or the bottom of the Asian range. All right, and then you're going to need a TDI confirmation. Okay, TDI confirmation is essential, and showing an out of the band, in the band, 1-1 condition with divergence is preferable. Okay, if there's no clear pattern on the M15, sometimes you can go to the H1 chart and look for an H1 bounce potential setup instead for that setup. Okay. All right, that's it for today's lesson, guys. I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions at all, please send me a message on Telegram or send me an email. Otherwise, hope you enjoyed that. I will see you guys on the next video.